Hi, all. This is Zaida Velgara from Becoming I Am here with a random reading. I don't know, it's been a while, and I know that you see how weird my schedule has been with everything that has to do with reading. So I figured, why not do something different? So I have my charm box, bringing it over here. I'll mix them around a little bit and see what we're going to be talking about. Okay. Oh, I had to like wiggle my wrist because I felt like I had something on my wrist, and it was my um let me put this over here, my bracelet, and that was weird. All right, so for you guys have never seen those charm readings before, anything close to me has to do with timelines that are closer to me, like things that will be happening sooner. Anything farther away is things that will be happening farther away in the time. To the left, closer; to the right, farther away. So left, right, closer, and farther. So the first thing that I see are three charms, one on top of the other. Let me pull them out so that you can see. The first one is a heart that in the back says body. And that's important because this is something that about your physical body. And what I'm seeing is the energy of Aries, which interestingly enough, you're just going to have to believe me. Aries, the charm of Aries. So the body is on top of the charm of Aries. And then on top of that, we have a cross. So for me, body being on top of Aries and on top of the cross is talking about an event that's going to take care. I know I can talk today, I swear. Okay. It's something that's going to take place due to Aries energy. And I'm hearing due to the Aries and Mars, due to a lot of the Aries activation. And honestly, on the 17th of April, we have a new moon in the sign of Aries, and it actually has 6 placements in Aries. I told you about it when I did the readings for the monthly readings. So right here, it's telling me that that Aries moon is going to be doing something to your body. Whenever I see the cross, it makes me feel like something that was holding you down, that was making you feel heavy. It's interesting that it's the first ones that come closest to me because that's literally telling me and that it's the first event of all this chain of events that we're seeing here. So if I were to say anything, that new moon energy on Thursday, I think it's Thursday or Friday, the 17th of April, in the sign of Aries is going to be very significant. And it's something that has to do with your physical body. And so sometimes our physical ailments are energies that are linked to pains, emotional pains that we carry. And sometimes they're past life pains, things like that, but they're normally connected to some kind of emotion. So something seems to be activating. And the thing that seems really interesting is that after I see this stack of three, the next one right after it is two of them. One of them is a sea turtle, and it's backwards. And the other one is the tree of life. And I feel like there was some kind of misfortune that always happened in your family. So what that means is you can call it a generational trauma, a generational curse, or a series of unfortunate events, but it's something that's catered to your family. So this can be like everybody in your family has high blood pressure, or everybody in your family has high cholesterol, or everybody in your family has some kind of birth defect in their heart. There's like this everyone energy around this ailment that's going to be coming off. And so because the turtle was backwards, and that reminds me of this card that I have in this deck that says um it's like Treasure Island, okay? And it's like a sea turtle with a gold a chest full of gold in its back. And as it was backwards, I feel like the good fortune that was supposed to happen to your family seems to like go upside down because also the tree of life was upside down. And that is something linked to the thing that's coming off because of this moon. It feels like all of a sudden your autoimmune problem doesn't seem to be that crazy, or your blood pressure seems to be under control, or your diabetes seems to all of a sudden magically get better. And you're like, what the hell? But at the same time, if you're thinking about it, those things that used to bother you emotionally no longer bother you. So that's kind of the two things that I'm seeing that are playing out. Then we have this next row, and this one's entering and interesting because I said entering. Do you see how I'm having problems talking? This is like I feel like I'm hearing and trying to express things that are coming from like three different worlds. Like I'm hearing many voices at once, and I'm trying to tell them, shh, be quiet, just one at a time. You guys are confusing this human brain. It doesn't want to listen. So just keep that in mind. So, what I'm seeing in this next line, which is very interesting, is a key. And this one has that Trinksta, I think it's called, where it's like a three it's three curves together. That's interesting because it reminds me of the energy of, like, Hecate, Mother Maiden Crone, blah, 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 blah. So it's talking about the essence of 3, and honestly, there's 3 laid up one against the other. The other one is it's the sigil I mean, it's the, sign of Sagittarius, but the one that fell down was the opposite sign where you see the symbol, and it says optimism, and then the 3rd one is a clear quartz. And this is interesting because I feel like whatever is taking care of that new moon, right? Starting back up in the new moon, clears out something in your physical health that was causing that was like a generational curse that every single one of your family members had, just repeating, repeating, repeating. And if you guys don't have ailments physically, it can be emotional ailments, like you always choose an abusive relationship. You always there's problems with women or men staying in marriages, or the kids have some kind of problem, that kind of stuff. So keep that in mind. This can be very versatile when it comes to the thing, but it's affecting your physical body because it says the body here. I got the body one. And so what I'm seeing is first that one, then this generational thing seems to come off of you. And then you get the key of optimism. And that for me is the energy of joy, of appreciation, of gratitude that they speak about, right? And when you enter into that, there's like this huge healing and upheaval that starts taking place in your life. And then the next row only has 2. And the first thing I have is a you. So either it's saying you specifically, or somebody has the initial of you. And then I have this sigil right here, which I have the book right next to me so I can look up what it's called and give you information about it. That's Wunhu, okay? And Wunhu has to do with joy. So then you enter into joy, or somebody with the letter U enters into joy, right? So it's interesting because what I'm seeing is the key, you get access to optimistic energy, and it starts pointing you in the direction of healing because that the Sagittarius is the archer. It's like pushing you to that direction of healing, of being cleansed by the waters. And then you have you feeling that joy. And then the next thing after that is the dragonfly, but it's backwards. So this is something you don't see. And what you don't see has the initial O. And then way in the far distance is one last one. That's another U. Um, I feel like the O for here is because the dragonfly for me feels like good luck and good favor. And it's something that's coming quick because dragonfly's life expectancy is very short. And that's so weird because the other day it's still not warm enough outside to start seeing dragonflies. And I don't live around swampy area, mind you. And I saw a big green dragonfly outside. But this is backwards. And so it's saying something that you don't see coming, like a good favor that's you don't see coming. And the O for here, though it can be initial, it does feel like a completion of some kind of cycle. And again, returning back to the U. So as I'm looking at this, I really don't want to know what's going to be healed because it depends on how many people are going to see this, right? How that can change, right? Because, this is talking about physical health, so whatever. But what I do want to see is the energy of you came twice. And I want to see if there's any additional messages. Ooh, look at how that fell off the deck when I picked it up. Additional messages for you specifically. We have the Strength card and we have that with the Queen of Pentacles. Those are the two that just fell out. So this is all about you right now. What else do you need to tell you that shows up twice in here? Temperance. You know, before this card came out, I've heard this is going to be a new version of you. Tell me more about this. And see, we have the Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles for me, with the Temperance next to it, it's like you're balancing out give and take. Okay? You're understanding that maybe some of the reasons why you had that low self-esteem, that resentment, that anger, that whatever it is that you had was because there was a lot of giving, not a lot of taking. And maybe there was a part of you, it wasn't that it wasn't offered, it was that you didn't feel like you should take it. And so, because for some strange reason, I feel like somebody really has to really look into their lives and notice that sometimes, yes, sometimes you got a selfish person, right? But sometimes help was offered and you said no because you were afraid to accept it because you were taught that accepting help was a bad thing. Or you were you were offered things or you were given gifts and stuff and you rejected them because you were afraid to accept gifts because of the fact that gifts meant that you were tied down to somebody or that you owed them something in return because that what was taught to you. And so sometimes we don't receive because we really reject receiving. And sometimes it's because of fear or because we don't feel worthy. And that's okay because we're not all in the same spot. And as we start learning that about ourselves, then we start realizing that we have that ailment and then we start healing it. And then we start seeing more people giving because of that. I feel like I have to say that to somebody because it's like, did you see how that did that swirl? Um, it's like this should have started already in your life, but it hadn't because you weren't ready for it. And the next cards that came out is the Seven of Pentacles with the Queen and the High Priestess. And I heard the Queen of Hearts when I said that. The High Priestess in reverse with the Judgment card. And this feels like there was so much more that you can give. So much knowledge, so much understanding, so much stuff. But you had to hold it back until people were ready to receive it. And that's important too, because sometimes we want to give and the people we want to give to reject it. And then that makes us hurt. And sometimes we have to learn that giving also means holding space for the other person um, to reject you and understand that maybe it's part of their process. And when they're ready, they'll accept the gift that we are trying to give them. And that one's really hard because rejection is big. And if somebody tells you, no, I don't want this, no, I don't want this, and you're just like, you know what, bitch, then forget you, right? Um, I'm honest with y'all. Not perfect in this world. um, then you start coming to the understanding of you're trying to give them something they're not ready for because of the same. If we went back and rewind, just like how you rejected somebody helping you or giving you a gift because you were afraid what that meant towards you. Do you think it's possible that that might be the same thing they got? And the reason they rejected it wasn't because they didn't want it, because they weren't ready for it and they were scared what it meant to receive it. And so this feels like the acceptance of joy comes from releasing the heavy cross of, I want to say rejection. I don't know why I'm feeling that. And then look at this. Then we have the Four of Pentacles, followed by the Knight of Swords, and then the Old Maid. And then what I see that happens is that once you're ready and you've come into balance, then those people that were holding back and saying, no, I'm sure this person has like an underlying reason why they're doing this, or I can't trust them because of that, or they look sneaky. Nobody can be that nice, or nobody can be that good, or whatever it is that they gave themselves an excuse to not come towards you. It seems like once it balances out in you, then they're interested. And then they see you like the old wise woman, right? The old person, the person with some kind of knowledge that can help them. And then they start coming towards you. And it's interesting because it feels like it was always you. Like it all had to heal inside of you first. And the bottom of the deck we have the Ten of Cups followed by the Ace of Swords, and then the Knight of Wands followed by the Two of Pentacles, followed by the energy of the Six of Wands. I picked these specifically because what I'm seeing is that then you are in this energy of joy and happiness and you're standing in your truth. And then this person then sees that you're there, that you're in that energy, and they want to balance their energy like you. And they start doing that journey to come towards you because they want that victory. But you also have to keep in mind that these people, they're in this energy of the Page of Pentacles. They're wanting to invest, but they don't really know what they're investing in. And you're sitting in this place of authority with the Emperor card. Your interactions with each other will cause death. Now, what does that mean by death? Death means that either you transform or they transform, because every interaction we have will be a result of a transformation. And that comes with this energy of the Nine of Cups, which saying wishes will be granted. And this goes back to, and this makes me laugh because of clients that I see. I always give people what they desire, right? And that is something that is true. I have not had a client that in the end of the day has not received exactly what they wish for. Uh, It's just that they thought that what they were wishing for was going to turn around one outcome. But when they wished for something, they might have not noticed that the problem might have been them. And their wish resulted in them losing stuff instead of gaining it. And that makes me, I want to say, smile in a way. Not saying that I'm smiling at people's um, misfortunes, but the fact that people perceive that with magic. And I think that's why people are so scared of magic, of spiritualism, things like that. The real one, not real one. Um, Sometimes when you get what you want, you're going to realize you really didn't want that. And then it's having to fix what you broke for asking for what you wanted. But here it looks like the whole thing that you wanted all started with you being you. That's when your whole world is going to change. I hope this helps.